Good everyone, on this video today we have a Spade review on the German Sd Kfz 222 armoured car. This is the later production variant, so there's going to be quite a few differences between the Chinese one, which you've already seen a review of, but if you're just clicking through YouTube for 222 reviews, I will cover everything that you need to know between the Chinese one and the German one in this video. If you want to skip straight to the table so you can see how the vehicle did throughout the Spade, feel free to do so in the link in the description below. And you can also do the same for the gameplay if you wish to do so as well. But anyway, we're going to cover the main differences between the German vehicle and the Chinese vehicle, and discussing which one is better. Newsflash, it's this one, but there is one thing that annoys me about this vehicle, which I will cover because it involves that front bumper right there, but we'll talk about it in a moment. So the main differences between the German and the Chinese one are going to be there's a couple of armour differences. Obviously the gun and the engine are the main ones, and of course that front bumper, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But mainly, the armour is going to be a bit better on this vehicle. You might remember from the Chinese review, or if you've not watched that, that's fair enough. This vehicle, or the Chinese vehicle, had 8 right here. It was 8mm of steel. Now what this means is if you are being shot at by a Chinese variant at anything past point blank range, they cannot penetrate this part. But they don't aim here anyway, so don't worry about that. But of course, it's just something to mention. And then this upper part is 14.5, which is also improved over the Chinese one, which also had 8mm of armour right here. As I mentioned about that front bumper as well, this is the same thickness, it's just this one is a bit bigger in terms of the size of the actual bumper itself. Around the back it's also a little bit more protected because of the slope parts, but you're not really going to feel this because, yeah, you're not, trust me. And that is pretty much the main differences, other than this internal, mounting for the gun. This is structural steel in the Chinese vehicle, this is rod homogeneous in the German vehicle. That's the main differences in terms of the armour, and as you'll notice, it's nothing too major, and you'll still get shredded by 50 cals, you'll still get one shot if you're not careful. Things like that, really. But that's not the only problem with this vehicle, and, well, it's more down to a nation problem, and I mean that in terms of teams, but you know, you just gotta take it how you do. So in terms of the overall main differences that you need to know about, like what affect the vehicle, the engine is one of them. This has a slightly more powerful engine producing 90 horsepower. However, you do take a weight increase to 5 tons. That is mainly due to the armour, as I mentioned, and obviously the bigger engine. Now what this means is the Chinese one actually has better power to weight ratio, but the German one just has a little bit more grunt for getting up some slopes. However, the acceleration on the German 222 is a little bit slower, and its off-road capability, thanks to that front bumper I keep mentioning, is a little bit worse as well, but I'm going to get into why that is the case anyway, because some people don't actually know what I mean by ground clearance and things like that. So I will cover that towards the end of the Hangar section. The coaxial machine gun is of course changed. This has a 7.92 MG34 machine gun. I would love if this was an MG42, but we can't have everything, I guess. And this coaxial is far superior to the one on the Chinese vehicle, especially when it comes to shooting at planes. And of course, the main star of the show is the 20mm KWK-38. This should be very familiar to German anti-aircraft players because, yeah, Germany just keeps getting too many KWK-38s, it's unbelievable. But this is very familiar to you because this has HVAP, unlike the Chinese one. A lot of people seem to think that the main difference between the Chinese and the German one was HVAP. No, as you can tell, there's a lot of differences. And, well, there's one last one. Smoke grenades. Now I know what you're thinking. Where are the smoke grenade launchers? Right here on the front. These are smoke canisters, so these are basically your smoke grenades. These are instant deploy, so they pretty much just whack out as soon as you press the button, and they're very useful for getting out of a tight spot. So, yeah, it's definitely one that you're going to enjoy, to say the least, because this vehicle, whilst it is a little bit heavier, it is still quite fun to play. So now let's go back to that front bumper. As you'll notice, it's sitting a lot lower than what you'd think for an armoured car. And what you've got to remember, when it comes to cars, they have to, shall we say, dampen their suspension and all that jazz just to go over a bump. But if we look at the Chinese vehicle, you'll notice it's sitting a lot higher up, and plus the bumper isn't as low down. What this means is that when the Chinese one is off-road, it's not going to be as affected by this because it's sitting higher up. And also the front bumper here, and what is essentially the transmission plate, is not going to be as affected by it. But if we look at the German vehicle, it's sitting a lot lower on its chassis, but it's also got the extra bumper, which I mentioned. So what this means is the German vehicle is going to struggle over bumps a little bit more than the Chinese one. Combine that with the, of course, lower power weight, it does mean that the German 222 is a little bit worse off-road, but you're not going to feel it as badly as some people will think. But just bear that in mind. You might not be the fastest thing on some maps because of the suspension, as I said, and of course the front bumper, which scrapes the ground like you wouldn't believe. But this just proves that Germany doesn't need to race their armoured cars anytime soon, because this thing's already low enough, that's for sure. Anyway, that's the main differences that you need to know about the vehicle, and that is pretty much it. So I'm going to hand you over to the table now, and you can see how the vehicle did throughout the Spade. I'll see you all in just a moment. And welcome to my little table. I'm not going to talk about the all of the battles, because some of them just weren't interesting, as you can probably tell. But the main battles that were interesting were Battle Number 1, Battle Number 6, which I believe is the battle you're seeing today, Battle 7, and Battle 8. I believe it's Battle 6 that's in my hard drive. I don't remember. It's either Battle 6 or Battle 1. But I'll remember once I go to the editing part, that's for sure. That's what happens when caffeine hasn't kicked in. You don't remember things, because, trust me, I kind of need that. So Battle 1 was the very first match that I played, with it being 1 air kill, 3 ground kills, 0 assists, 1 cap, and a death, with 4,287 SL, 1,184 RP. Then the next interesting battle was Battle Number 6. 1 air kill, 6 ground kills, 3 assists, 2 caps, 1 that, well, obviously died in that, 8,211 SL, 1,840 RP. Battle 7 was 0 air kills, 4 ground kills, 1 assist. No base caps, did die in that match, 3,664 SL, 984 RP. And battle number 8 is 1 air kill, 4 ground kills, 1 assist, 1 cap, and a death to get 5,218 SL, 1,117 RP. As you can see, died in every single match, and I played 8 matches to Spade the vehicle, and we had a combined total of 22 kills in the vehicle. I had to quickly do that in my head there because I didn't note anything. I don't tend to do that when it comes to the tables. I don't really care about that sort of thing. And if you really want to go like dedicated, you can include the air kills, so that'll be 25. But this vehicle is very good. As I said, it's definitely a lot better than the Chinese one. But of course, it does have a trade-off with the off-road capability and the slight degrade to overall, shall we say, drivability, with it being a little bit slower. But it's still a lot of fun. And if you don't have the 234-1 like I do, this is definitely a good substitute to get you started and maybe treat yourself in the future to it, I guess, on the marketplace if it's not too expensive. But I hope you enjoyed today's, well, should I say, the overall coverage of the vehicle. And I'll hand you over to the gameplay now. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and I'll hand you over to the gameplay. I believe it's battle number 6. It's a good one. I'll see you all on the next one. Well, this team's doing well so far. I mean, we are pushing, but A side is looking a little bit bare at the minute. I can hear it as well, buddy, don't worry. Yeah, there he is, BT5. 6-2 took care of it. See if we can push up to Charlie, because it doesn't seem like there's anyone here, but I'm not going to just charge in. Perfect example as to why. The old HVAP, I've been missing this belt. I've had to play several games without HVAP, and against some vehicles, not fun. I go coat, back up, back up, back up. I think I hear something else. Okay, let's move up. Probably just me, but let's move up. Well, this has been a bit of an interesting start. Certainly more interesting than half the matches I've had in this thing. Problem is German teams, because they have access to a new toy, they tend to be a little bit questionable, to say the least. And that's being polite. Fuck off. Bloody plane. He's dead already. Teammate hears something. Hang on, buddy. Coming to help. Yep, somebody just hit the Panzer II. What do you see, my friend? Oh shit, he's up there. I'm gonna get my vehicle down. Come up. Got him. Shame I couldn't save my teammate there. Gun depression on this thing is average, but it's not outstanding. I think it's only 7 on this thing. Yeah. Whereas in the Puma, the event Puma, it's -4. So you do struggle sometimes with gun depression, but it's not like it's not the worst. I've dealt with worse gun depression before. Maybe sneak a shot under the ridge. There we go. Coaxed him. See if we can get up here. Oh, yep, there's something behind us. Oh, I can't really do anything to that. What I can do, though, is call it out. But maybe if this thing had scouting, which it kind of should, it would really help it. Like, I know they trialed, so to speak, scouting on the event Puma. Back when that first came out, but like, it was busted. I don't know if it'd be as busted because this thing's a little slower, it feels. Rockets. Right, we have to take the shortcut and hope it works. Ground clearance is not as good as this. Well, on the Chinese 222, the Chinese 222 sits a little higher on the chassis. Oh shit! Shit! Getting cover! That's 50 cal. Oh no, that's the 20mm one. Okay, the H39 is pushing, and there's a T26 just over here. I'm going to attempt to flank around and bag the T-26 and then come back for the H-39 later. That's the plan. If I don't get killed, of course, but, you know. Come on then, my little 222. So you can see what I mean, like, I'm bogging down here when I went over that bump. Because this thing has a... I'll obviously mention it in the hangar, but this thing has a slightly... like, it's got a bumper that protects the underside of the vehicle from, like, light machine gun fire. But that's not ideal when you're trying to, you know... like when you're trying to drive over certain terrain, because the Chinese 222 can get over better terrain than this thing can. I mean, well, they both get over the same terrain, it's just the Chinese 222 isn't as restricted. Oh shit. That did absolutely nothing. I'm dead here. How in the hell did you not reload in time? I should be dead. There's no, like, BS on this. I should be dead. He should have reloaded before I was able to. But you know what? We're not going to complain. I still think this is the better vehicle, though, out of the two. Like, the Chinese 222 and the German 222. I still think this is better, but... yeah. The drivability of the Chinese one's better. Not going to bother grabbing ammo. Or another smoke grenade. Well, I say smoke grenade, it's literally them canisters on the front of the vehicle. Just going to do this, just in case. Besides, they're instant deploy, so why not? Now let's see if we can make it to my little spot. Right, he might be coming back. Got some hits. Unfortunately, I don't have crew replenishment unlocked at this moment in time, but I certainly will after this match. Kill assist, I'll take it.